Ballyhale Shamrocks are All-Ireland champions once again after a 122 to 115 victory over Dunloy at Croke Park. Dunloy were excellent for long spells in this game, and it was only in the last couple of minutes that Ballyhale really began to pull away. And I suppose the pressure that the Shamrocks have been putting on throughout eventually began to tell as the Antrim side just flagged a little bit late on. And I think it was the amount of shots that they dropped short, and it probably by force of effort tried to force scoring chances throughout both the first and second half. Dunloy dropped a nice few short for Dean Mason, and then they were often hit on the counter at the other end and made to pay. So yet another fantastic victory for Ballyhale Shamrocks, who are of course in their 50th year, 9th All-Ireland club title at this stage, which is quite something. Owen Cody, without doubt, was the man of the match. He scored 1-5 here. Plenty of other players popped up with scores as well. I think it was 10 or 11 players who scored for a finish. Brian Cody, who's been out injured for the year, he came back in and popped one just at the very end. TJ Reid, he scored a number of 65s, 4 65s. They won 5 of them in total, and it's rare you'd see that. The amount of goal chances that Ballyhale created, it was always bound to tell eventually, even though they only converted one through Cody. Colin Fennelly in that first half in particular, the amount of times he won ball, ran at Dunloy and just caused mayhem, had a shot blocked himself. TJ Reid in the start of the second half from a narrow angle one, he had one blocked down at close range from a tight angle, again created by Fennelly. But the fact that Shamrocks could win this without Adrian Mullen, who was injured and wasn't togged out at all, so he'll obviously need a few weeks to get ready for Kilkenny. And Darren Mullen, who didn't start the game, he was one of those players who went off injured early against Ballygunner in the semi-final, but he came on and caught a great ball right at the end inside his own 14-yard box. And that was a crucial one, because at that stage Dunloy were still within striking range. They were maybe 3 or 4 points behind, but it was at that point that just Shamrocks really began to take over. Owen Cody with a long range, I'd say 70-yard ball in the 61st minute to put his side 4 ahead. Then Ronan Corcoran, Brian Cody and Dara Corcoran actually with the final one as well, just finished it off. But great effort from Dunloy. I think most people had them fairly well written off for this match. Shamrocks, of course, they did fill the role of being favourites and obviously came through for a finish, but it probably wasn't a total performance from Shamrocks either. I think there's probably a little bit of room for frustration for Gregory O'Kane and his setup, because they dropped so many balls short, like I spoke about, the few spills, few turnovers. So obviously a lot of that is the force of effort to keep into Shamrocks throughout the game. Paul Shields, I thought he was really, really good. Conal Cunning, excellent on the freeze. Shan Elliott, dropped a couple short, but he was very dangerous at times. Keelan Malloy was good. Ronan Malloy with that goal early on in the game, beautifully worked move, and the wing forward side through and blasted into the bottom of the net. And I suppose that set us up for a good game. And, anyone who was thinking that this would be like 15 or 20 points, that was kind of put paid to early enough. And there was times when it looked like Shamrocks would pull away in that first half, and they had a couple of goal chances from Owen Cody and Niall Shortall, who started in place of Adrian Mullen. Shortall soloed through. Well, he collected a pass from Owen Cody in the 29th minute, just about to go one-on-one with the keeper, spilled it. But, at that stage, it looked like Ballyhale were about to pull away. It was 1-9 to 1-5. But no, made a bit of a burst just before half-time with Shan Elliott and Cunning free, and Nicky McCaig, who got one nice point. He could have probably added another and just mishit his shot. But if you look at the stats over the course of the game, 6 goal chances to 1, 43 scoring chances to 29. Ultimately, the Shamrocks just had that little bit more. And this was a day when, maybe their main man, TJ Reid, didn't fire the way he can. He still did absolutely fine. Paddy Mullen, he got himself a point. Owen Keneally and Joe Cuddy, they both pitched in. And Colin Fennelly was excellent full forward. Joey Holan, very solid at full back, as he always is. Killian Corcoran, I thought, was excellent at corner back, and he got on the ball an awful lot. And they just used the full width of the pitch. They're very smart on the ball. Great effort from Dunloy, but just as it came to the end of the game, just couldn't quite get across the line with that extra effort. But certainly encouraging for them, and they'll feel like they can kick on now. They've got the monkey off their back in Ulster by beating Schlockneil, and I think they'll be hugely encouraged from the performances that they gave, both against St. Thomas's, when they were definitely the better side, albeit Thomas's had a couple of injuries, and in this game here they were really good for long spells. But for Shamrocks, how long can they keep this going? Can they keep the entire panel together? There's some talks of lads going away travelling and so on and so forth. We'll see what happens there, but another brilliant win for Ballyhale Shamrocks, 122 to 115 at Croke Park. Just a reminder, we have some coaching events coming up, a coaching clinic in Kilworth, County Cork. Colm Spillane, Eddie Brennan and Owen Breslan, they'll be there. And also just a reminder that we're brought to you by ourstore.ie, which is the home of the official merchandise for our game.